Today I embark on perhaps the most torturous journey of my life as I attempt to get every single achievement in gaming's biggest failure, Hello Neighbor. What I thought would be just traversing through a glitchy and somewhat cringy children's game turned into one of the most frustrating hellscapes I'd ever experienced. Fit with impossible to figure out puzzles, incomprehensible gameplay, an ungodly confusing story, and the lifeless stare of my mustache tormentor the whole time. Join me through this terrifying journey as I 100% Hello Neighbor. The game begins as we're running down the street trying to grab our beach ball.
What does his nose look like that?
But before our little Gru can grab his precious ball, I make an insane discovery in the settings.
Log into Mixer? This has to be a sick joke.
I head down the road to grab my ball, but notice some interesting posters on the way.
Simming? What is simming?
Wait, does this game have its own language?
That can't be real. What the heck was that?
Yes, upon hearing that horrific scream and crashing sound, Pinocchio decides to head straight towards it. The first of many examples on why this child is so mind-numbingly stupid, he deserves to be dead. We see the neighbor lock something in his basement before leaving the key on his top floor, pointing us to our first major goal of the game.
Okay, well, why don't I just go up and ask? Let me in, sir. Oh, it does work like that. Oh, okay. I can't believe you just let me go in through the front door.
I try going into the neighbor's living room, but...
Holy... Oh, I don't know why that actually scared me. Oh no, he gloved me.
Yes, obviously if you're caught by the neighbor, you're teleported back outside his house, which for someone who's supposed to be an evil mass murderer is surprisingly nice. I know to not go through the front door now, so I look towards other entrances, but I'm surprised by the neighbor, and while initially frightening,
oh crap,
I soon realize a major flaw with the neighbor that's gonna make him less of an overwhelming horrific threat and more of just an annoying inconvenience.
Dude, he's so slow. He's so slow. Locked out.
For some reason, they made this little kid actually faster than neighbor, which takes away just a little bit of the tension in a game, you know, entirely themed around running away from neighbor. I find there's not too much to do in the house currently, so I head outside where I find a shelf leaning on the roof that very clearly wants you to climb it. But before I get a chance,
he heard me. Oh my god, bro, broke through the window. Oh my god, neighbor's insane. And he's gaining on me. What the? He threw a glass of milk at me. What?
For some reason, neighbor has an intense obsession with milk. He throws milk at you, he has milk cartons all over his house, they even fill his boxes. And I know literally zero things about the lore going into this, but I can guess with 90% certainty that it's because he had a child that died. Either that, or he really truly just a freak. Back to the shelf though, and I try to climb it.
Jump up here. Okay, 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 there we go.
Eventually I get to the top of the shelf, but I'm too short to reach the roof.
Oh, the neighbor saw me. I'm just hanging out over here. Just hanging out over here, man. Well, I will respect the laws of the lawn.
Thinking that the shelf maybe isn't the way up, I try exploring around the rest of the house, but find that there isn't really anything inside either.
What? What was that? Why'd he throw a freaking patch at me?
But this time, instead of respawning on the lawn, I'm in this weird liminal hotel thing where we can see the neighbor calling to someone and the voice of a woman.
What was that? Huh? It's like a wheel.
We then hear police sirens in the distance approaching the scene. I think what this is trying to tell us is that getting run over by a car would be better than playing this awful game. But you know what isn't better than getting run over by a car? Subscribing to my channel. I make tons of 100% videos and sometimes actually cover good games like, well, okay, not that one, but I promise it happens. So subscribe so you don't miss them. I wander around aimlessly for a while until I discover the true savior of Hello Neighbor, the guiding light in a forest of feces, cardboard boxes. I place a tower of these on top of the shelf from before, which allows me to jump straight onto the roof.
Okay, nice. Okay, now I'm on the roof and I can't do anything up here. Okay, I'm just gonna jump over here. Okay, because I jump like an Olympic athlete, I couldn't do anything.
And soon after that, I'm caught by neighbor once again, and I'm teleported to another one of these death mini games. In this one, we're tiny and the neighbor is big. Then he catches us. That is seriously it. I do not understand how that could possibly have lore implications.
It means something. It means he just jumped through the wall.
Now my next goal is to stack these boxes to get to the other side of the roof. But here I'm introduced to what is consistently the most frustrating part of the game, neighbor. As I'm sure you've gathered by now, neighbor is not scary or intimidating in any sort of way. The creepiest thing about him is his weird mustache, which, hey, wait a second. And there's no consequence for being caught by neighbor other than just a small loading screen. This causes neighbor to feel less like a horrifying, omnipotent presence tracking your every move and more just like a mild annoyance. Because the puzzles in this game are insanely confusing. So you'll be in the middle of trying to figure out what the heck you're supposed to do, and neighbor comes by. So now you gotta run away from him for like 5 minutes, wait for him to go somewhere else, and then just go back to what you're doing. I don't know what the intention was, but it just feels like artificial padding. Taking something you could probably do in 5 minutes minutes and making it take like 20. All the while, this stupid music plays and he throws 70s wallpaper at you. Like, what even is that? I finally managed to stack my boxes properly, but right when I do, neighbor comes with a freaking vacuum and sucks me off. I'm just realizing now how that sounds. With my box tower now toppled over, I'm forced to reassemble it, which sounds like an easy task, right? Stacking just 4 boxes on top of each other. No, of course not. Sometimes when you stack the boxes, they go exactly where you stack them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you jump right on top of the box stack. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes a single jump will send you flying in the opposite direction. Sometimes the neighbor can just grab you from like 6 feet below you. Who knows why anything happens in this game? Finally, after 20 minutes of trying, I make it onto the roof. From here, I can break this window and access the top floor of the house.
What the heck? Why is it making a bunch of drawing of kids? Oh no, I don't want to get caught now. Then I have to play more of this game.
But guess what? But after all that work, the door is locked. This briefly breaks my spirit, but I guess our gargantuan child-sized elbows accidentally knocked this painting down, revealing the way into the next room. This opens the path to a lever that we can pull down. This lever activates a fan. What does that do? I have no clue. How does that relate to getting into the next locked room? Completely unclear. I stumble around the house for 10 minutes looking to see if anything changed, but nothing had. Just completely and utterly confused, I throw a bowling ball at the window guarding the red key room, which for some reason this child can throw at least 30 feet into the air. Oh my god, get him on the Mets! I then try creating a box tower up to the window and get frustrated after struggling to stack 3. But then I return to the door and find that it's just unlocked now? What? Why? There's apparently a couple different ways to get into this door, but it just opening for no reason is not supposed to be one of them. Irregardless, I can grab the red key now and head down to the basement. I can open up this washer, which leads into a room where someone has clearly been staying, fit with a bed and several food items. I guess the implication is that the door was locked and the neighbor trapped someone down here. But if that's the case, then why did he put actual windows inside that could very easily be shattered? Upon jumping through the broken glass, I discover the rest of the dark, dank basement. I open a door which reveals a bunch of chairs blocking even more doors that I can remove. Whoa, chairs on a door? This ain't your mom's mascot horror. Eventually, I find a flashlight, which helps me find the red smoke machine with a button.
Now it's making green smoke. Okay, good. I was worried it was going to keep making red smoke.
Soon I realized that nothing is going on down here. For being the entire premise of the game, you'd think they'd have like dead babies or eldritch monsters or something down here, but it's just a bunch of confusing pathways and chairs. It's seriously so unclear what I'm even supposed to be doing. I mean, I know it involves this red-green smoke machine somehow, but there's no visual or sound cues to even show what exactly it does.
This is so confusing. Please. Oh, God. Neighbor, 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 neighbor.
Oh.
He got me, I guess.
Adding further to this confusion, neighbor is now down here in the basement with us. And since the basement is so close quarters, it's almost impossible to avoid him, leading to death after death after death after death.
The neighbor is so annoying. Please. Please. Oh, God, I heard him. Just get in the locker. No, you're not supposed to be able to go in the closet, neighbor. You're supposed to be like the aliens from Science. You're afraid of wood and water. That's why you drink milk.
After a full 40 minutes of roaming around, this gate that was previously closed is now open. I'm not even going to try to explain that. From there, I can open the door into a room with another door that we can now open since we set the smoke machine to green smoke.
What? What's going on? Ah, neighbor! Run! Oh, he caught me in 2 seconds. Ah, hallways with only one path. Well, this isn't good. Wait, what? Act 2? That was all of Act 1? Look, my knees are all bruised up. Oh my god, I got got. That was all of Chapter 1? That didn't... Okay. He's got a basement. That's all I know. Wait. He threw me in this room, but he didn't lock it? He just left it completely unlocked?
What? Why did he even trap us in here? You know, unless maybe neighbor didn't trap us in the basement and instead was trying to take care of us since we got injured or something like that. You know, that's actually kind of smart. Oh, he constructed a 20-foot fence to trap us in here, so he can turn his entire house into a giant fort, but he doesn't know how to lock a door. What is wrong with this man? Our new goal is to find a way out of this prison neighbor had trapped us in.
Wait, there's an entire other house that he built on top of his house. How long was I freaking down there for?
Act 2 also introduces a new mechanic in a day-night cycle. Yes, I'm being serious. Every time you get caught by a neighbor, it progresses to the next stage, which is why you'll notice the lighting in the footage look wildly different at times. Neighbor has also installed a security cam system, alerting him to our location if we try and enter through the front door. However, we can pull the breaker switch, which makes getting around a lot easier, but you still gotta be careful. Upon dying, we're transported to some sort of roller coaster, and I'm pretty sure we're an adult now for some reason. Wait, is this entire game gonna be a metaphor? Please don't tell me this entire game is a metaphor.
Okay. There was a table and everyone was giggling. This is the insight to his story, I think. Something bad happened and everyone's sad. Okay. And then there was a roller coaster on top of the house. Not gonna see how that really ties into everything, but someone died and then there was a roller coaster. Oh! Okay. So he had a daughter who died, and it made him sad. What does that have to do with kidnapping children?
If I had a nickel for every time a mascot horror villain became a psycho because their kid died. Isn't anyone just like evil these days? Do I have to see some deceased child to make me understand them? After wandering around for a very long time, I have made no progress other than noticing that there are some pipes. I see a pipe crank that I can reach with some boxes, but can't turn the handle at all with my hands. So it's time to start looking for some sort of tool that could help me. I look around the house for a tool or a hammer and find one in truly the last place I would ever expect.
A wrench inside his freezer. Why would I ever think that there would be a wrench inside of his freezer? That's gotta be the stupidest thing I've ever thought of in my life. He literally put a wrench inside of his own freezer, and the game devs actually expected me to find that. Whatever.
I'm gonna go eat some yummy wrench. Hey, where's my breakfast? Oh no, there's no wrench for me to eat today. Before I get a chance to test out my delicious wrench, I'm caught by Neighbor once again, and I'm sent to another death minigame.
Okay, I get it. His daughter died. His daughter died and now he's sad. His daughter died and now he's sad. Aw, feel kind of bad. Neighbor's kind of bad, not gonna lie.
Apparently, my wrench doesn't actually move this crank, but it does open up the gate to this ladder, letting me access Neighbor's upstairs.
He has a pool? On the 3rd floor? You're a freak, man.
Unfortunately, though, if we try and head into the pool, we are instantly eaten by a shark. A pool shark, of course. While exploring, I find a switch on one of the pipes that I can flick and hear some water flowing. Looking around the house, I can find some more of these switches, and upon flicking my third, the crank wheel I was looking at earlier falls off. On some of the pipes, I see this little red indent with a place to fit the wheel, so I try to land on the pipes. After several attempts, I finally manage to land on it, and then Neighbor somehow manages to catch me on top of the pipes. Are you kidding me, Neighbor? After many more attempts to land on the pipe, I finally get there, place my wheel on this little spigot, and then can turn this goddamn sucker. Now, you're probably wondering two things. One, why does my character do the Valorant stealth thing when there's nothing in their hands? And two, how are you supposed to know how to do any of this? And unfortunately, I don't have the answer to either of these questions. To reach the final crank spot, you need to consult the ancient boxes once again and make a little tower onto this gate to the right here. From here, we can turn this and cause massive amounts of water to start pouring out. This water is coming from the pool, I guess, as it's now completely empty, letting us cross. This gives us access to a new area where if we place our wheel once again, we can fill the room with water. But it's then that I make a truly insane revelation.
Can I not swim? Why can't he swim? Just swim out of here, man. There's no swimming? Oh my god. Oh my god. How could you not think of that? It literally pours into a room you're standing in. How could you not think to add a swim thing? This is your own design. This isn't like an accident. I was standing in this room and now it's covered in water. Like, what?
Even though I've completely filled this room with water, it seems to have made no difference, as I still cannot access the door on the other side. I tried throwing just about everything you can think of into this new pool, but nothing works, so I decided to come back later. After more aimless walking around, I happened to go through the pool area again and see a giant shovel that I missed on the ground. You know, for the first and only time in this video, that one's on me. This thing was sitting massive in the middle of the room. I really don't know how I missed that. I can use the shovel on this giant dirt pile in the backyard, and upon digging it all up, it reveals a coffin with a key wearing a bow tie. Okay, sure. I can use the dapper key to open up a dollhouse I spotted before. Inside is a replica of our current section of Neighbor's house. And if we open this door right here, it'll allow us to reach the water temperature control. I turn the knob to cold, which then freezes the water inside the room we filled before. By crossing the ice and going through the door, we can grab the red key, which finally lets us leave this place.
Yes. Oh my god.
Neighbor!
Oh, I done dunked it. Why does he not chase after us? Why didn't he chase us at all? What? He just closed the door? He's been chasing us this entire time, but then we escape and he just closes the door? Also, if we lived up the road, he isn't really our neighbor, is he?
And with that, we had moved on to Act 3. And surely the acts get better as time goes on, right? Act 3 starts 20 years later, and we are now old and gross, having our own apartment. Then a letter slips underneath the door. A letter that is completely incomprehensible to us because of the stupid made-up language the game devs decided to make.
Oh my god, how did his nose get bigger? Okay, he got a letter, and he's only packing a bunch of books. And an apple in his suitcase? What's this guy's strategy?
Was that Neighbor House?
They took down Neighbor House? How could they do such a thing? Whoa. Neighbor burned down house. Why did he burn down his house?
What the heck was that in the background?
It's the first scary thing that's happened in this game. Uh-oh. Yeah, he has PTSD, bro. I gotta get out of here. Where's the baddie with the mustache shows up?
We go into our trunk, grab a green key, and then open the house across the way, which I'm assuming now is our old house. I guess all of Pinocchio's family died, and he has like PTSD from being locked in Neighbor's house. Stressed out, our protagonist decides to nap on the couch, but when he awakes, the neighbor's house is back! And this genuinely might be the most insane beat in this entire game. Because I don't think it's a spoiler to say that this is so obviously a dream sequence. I mean, we literally see the main character go to sleep, and when he wakes up, the neighbor's house is rebuilt. So extremely obviously, Act 3 is a dream sequence. Now, it's very widely known that everyone hates in a story when you get to the end and it was all just a dream, because it means that nothing in the story mattered at all, and it was all just a fantasy. So to write a game where the whole point is to figure out what the neighbor is up to as a dream sequence is already crazy enough. But even crazier than that is the only point of writing a story that ends with "it was all a dream," is to get momentary shock value out of your audience who believed that everything happening was real. But that doesn't work when you literally show your main character falling asleep before this all happens. I've got a lot more to say about this, but I'll save it for later. For now, it was time to enter Neighbor's house and start by far the longest act in the game, Act 3. And Neighbor's house is a ton bigger than it used to be, so we've got a lot to do. I start off by exploring the house, only to find that pretty much every passageway is blocked off by locked doors, gates, or just otherwise inaccessible. I end up making no progress and getting caught a lot, so I try to just go back to the basics of what I know about Hello Neighbor.
No, he doesn't keep his wrench in the freezer anymore. Why not, neighbor? Why did you stop snacking on wrenches, man?
The entire world as I knew it had been flipped upside down. After stumbling around for a bit, I find an opened window outside and a flippable switch inside. By throwing the trusty apple we packed in our suitcase, I can whack the lever and open up the door inside. Inside the door is an absurdly long ladder that leads to a room with a giant railroad track. I guess he really did have a roller coaster on his roof. If I fall out of this door here, I can land onto the other side of the room that was previously blocked off by this gate. This brings us into a hallway where...
Why does he have these posters of himself?
And besides that meaningless one, every other door in this section is locked. Awesome. On the bright side, I can lift up this gate so that I can come back here later. I come back again, this time trying to jump onto the railroad.
No! Now we have to play more Hello Neighbor.
Eventually, I make it onto the railing and jump over here to access a new area so that we can finally get started. And the door is locked and there's nothing to do here. After an hour of just aimlessly walking around, I finally find a new room in the birthday party room. And inside, I can find myself the yellow key. I look all around the map for its lock, and it turns out it's just on the other side of this door I started on. It's that just loops back into the same... That didn't even give me access to any new areas. Why even lock it off with a key? That doesn't even make any sense. What's the point? Just to torture us? How have I not got a single achievement yet? Turns out if I go back to the railroad platform from earlier, I noticed that the door is marked with a moon, and since it's night, I'm able to head in. The following door is adorned with the sun, meaning I'll need to come back here during the daytime. I jump off the roof until it's noon, but when I return...
Okay, go through this freaking moon door now.
Wait, it's closed now?
Because it's not nighttime.
So now I gotta throw myself off the roof until it's nighttime again. After dying 4 times...
No, don't fall. No!
God dang it! I try to die 4 more times, but even dying can sometimes be hard in Hello Neighbor.
Dude, I'm trying to get caught by you. I just don't even know where you are.
Dude, just come up and get me! I can't even move! You can't move and I can't move! Are you a moron? Oh my god, the AI on this thing is so bad! This genuinely might be the worst game ever made. My god, this is supposed to be Act 3. I don't know anything about this stupid freak. I don't even know why he's so evil. He doesn't seem that evil. He honestly just seems like a guy who's really into construction. And I think that he should be left alone because of that. Keep in mind that this is after only 4 hours of Hello Neighbor, and we still have another 12 to go. I finally make it back to the moon door, but this time stick this table inside the door frame. Then die until it's day, and I can finally access this door. That leads me to a hallway, which leads me to a bedroom, which finally leads me to a room of junk, including the almighty umbrella. Perhaps the most important item in all of Hello Neighbor. In the cold, unforgiving world of Neighbor, umbrella is the one to lead us to the light. If I stand on this platform in the corner and throw stuff at this lever, I can whack it and rise the platform to the door.
Is that the end of Act 3? No, there's more. Why am I so tiny? This has to be a dream sequence. Why would one construct such a thing?
Now we find ourselves inside of what is definitely supposed to be a grocery store, but looks more like a warehouse with a bunch of shelves. Around the store shops mannequins, and if they see you, you'll get teleported back to the start of the level. At the end of the area is a checkout counter that won't let us through unless we have our shopping cart, meaning we're gonna have to push this thing all the way down without getting caught. I push it to the end, but upon arriving, the counter gives me 5 red lights, and I'm thrown to death. I figured that this must mean this sign on top of the counter means something. Maybe I need 3 regular eggs and 1 cracked one, but upon looking around, I don't see a single egg in sight. So I tried just putting random stuff inside my cart, which doesn't work, but does give me some green lights. So I know that I'm doing something right. So I decided to just place one of every single item in the store in my cart, and then I'll have to be let through. Now, if you had to guess, what would be the hardest part of this little minigame? Sneaking around without getting caught? Maybe figuring out which items to grab? No, that would all be reasonable, but all still wrong. The hardest part is putting the items in the freaking shopping cart. How did they mess this up? Why is there no button to just place the items in the cart? Is the main character seriously that stupid that he is unfamiliar with the concept of placing something down? Actually, I lied. The hardest part of this minigame is that they only recorded one voice line for this entire section of the level.
D33 to County 7, please. D33 to County 7, D33 to County 7, D33 to County 7, D33, D33, D33,
Now I know I'm spending a lot of time on one goddamn voice line. I need you to understand, guys. All 25 of those voice lines happened in just 20 minutes. Yes, I am being serious. Why would they not just record one single other take? I'm losing my mind. Once I've gathered every single item at the store and chuck it into the cart, I can finally push it to the end and get all 5 green lights. At the end is a door letting me escape the supermarket hellscape and giving me my first achievement. With all that work finally completed, it was time to see what new hidden area of the map beating this unlocked.
Okay, that opens up this, which we've already been to. So I did that whole thing for nothing. There was no reason to do that, because it just brought me back to an area that I've already been to. Is this a sick joke? You must be kidding right now. You can't be serious. What was the point of that entire shopping thing? What was the point of that? This is so bad, guys. I'm not even playing this up. This genuinely might be the worst game ever made. What am I even supposed to do, man? This is a horror game, and I just went shopping through the halls for like 45 minutes just for it to do nothing. For it to not even unlock a new area. For it to not affect the gameplay at all. For it to not even change the status quo.
And the sunroom door is closed again. I proceed to stumble around for 20 minutes aimlessly before just giving up.
Okay, I looked this part up, guys. I'm gonna be honest. And this might be the stupidest thing in the entire game so far, which is saying something. I just did a shopping minigame for no reason. How would you ever guess that? How would you ever guess that in a million years? How could I possibly guess that one random painting on the wall with no visual difference from all the other paintings would open up this freaking secret closet? How would I ever guess that?
And if you think I've lost it now, brother, we're not even halfway done. Inside the painting, I find a new area.
Okay, what's this? No guns. Okay? I'd never had a gun, and I don't think I ever will, really.
I look through this back room here and open up the electricity box to find a crowbar. But unfortunately, the bar is hot to the touch, meaning it can't be picked up and falls to the ground. So we'll need to wait for that to cool off in real time before we can use it. In the meantime, I find a super magnet on this shelf back here, which can be used in this little side window to magnetically pull this blue key to me. I can also throw a picture frame to flip this switch back here. But with the blue key, we can head up the stairs to finally unlock the blue lock that's been taunting us from the very beginning of the game.
I go through here, up through here, unlock this door, finally get in here. Are you joking? I did all that for a room I've already been to? What's the point of having this goddamn super magnet then? Okay, did that actually work? Why did that go down? You know what? Don't know, don't care.
This happy little accident gives us access to the globe, which we're gonna need later. On the bright side, our crowbar has cooled off now. I've been noticing this little switch box in the corner. Thought that maybe I could yank it open with the crowbar.
Come on, bust it down. Why is it hitting the lever? I do not think that is how I was supposed to solve the puzzle, but that solved the puzzle. And therefore, I am happy.
While this got me the red key, this is going to end up having catastrophic consequences later on in this playthrough. So remember this moment. I find this room with a lever that I can flick, which opens up this button to press, which then turns on the train that you've been seeing the tracks of all around the house. I get into the train and stop it in front of this door. Then I can jump onto this surrounding pipe to jump onto the train. Yeah, of course that would happen. After far too many failed jump attempts, I can now get onto the roof of the house. From here, I can use the umbrella.
No, I accidentally threw the umbrella. Well, alright, I'm raw dogging this. I'm so glad I made that jump.
Inside, we can use the red key to open the door and head inside our second minigame. Here, I've shrunken down real small, and the goal is to make it to the top of the closet. The physics are a little weird here because despite being small, we can still jump the same distance, leading to making jumps that should normally seem impossible. Besides that, this section is, dare I say, actually kind of fun, having to do silly things like knock over this vase to access a higher shelf and getting launched out of a toaster. At the end though, there's a giant green arrow pointing to a lamp that I definitely cannot reach.
What does this mean? Okay, maybe I can make that jump. I don't know. Oh, okay, I could. I did. Oh. Wait, what?
But once again, upon getting out of the minigame, besides the achievement, I'm not given any forward progress, making me wonder why I'm even doing these freaking things at all. Next up, the top of the train has this little side room filled to the brim with boxes. Upon taking them all out and climbing up there, I walk past all the reused assets and find a green key stuck to what seems to be a super magnet. So if we want that key, we're gonna have to find a way to turn this sucker off. Back up on the roof, I can use some boxes to jump over these tomato plants, which leads me to a little hatch. Upon throwing a box inside the hatch, it stops all the gears inside, which deactivates the mega magnet. I grab myself the green key and open the green door at the bottom of the first floor stairs. This lets us enter our third and final minigame, and would you believe that this is the worst one yet?
Okay, this one's actually kind of creepy.
Holy sh! That one's scary. Okay, that scared me. The main premise of this game is that you need to avoid being caught by the mannequins. It takes me a while to figure out. The only way to do that is to wait for the school bell. Once the school bell rings, all of the mannequins will be sitting in their chairs, and you can safely run to a locker to hide in and wait for the next bell. Seems simple enough, right? It's literally just red light, green light. Except here's the problem. That only works sometimes. As often, some of the mannequins will just decide they don't want to sit down. So even during the safe periods, you can very easily be caught. I don't even have the energy to rant about this one. It's just programmed so ungodly poorly. And the fact that it defies the entire point of red light, green light means you just need to bash your head into your keyboard until you can get to the end.
No, the door's right here. The door's right here. Just go. Oh my god, that was actually kind of creepy. Oh, I hate these things. Space. Oh, I killed it. Okay, I don't understand the significance of the mannequins. Strangely enough, after beating that minigame, I now have the ability to use the same push ability I used on the mannequin whenever the neighbor catches me. You can only use this once per life, but it still helps greatly in fighting back against neighbor as he constantly interrupts whatever I'm doing. With all that done, I truly have no idea where to go from here, as I've explored literally every room I can think of and still have not found a way to open up the door to neighbor's basement. So I decide to give in and look up the solution. And of everything in the game, in fact, this might be the stupidest thing in any game I've ever played. In order to open the door to the basement, you'll need the key card, which for some reason is frozen in an ice block inside his freezer. So in order to unfreeze the ice block, you need to, and I'm being 100% serious here, grab a kettle from inside your house. Then go to neighbor's house, turn on his sink, and fill your kettle with water. Turn on his stove, wait about 20 seconds for the water to heat up. Then open the freezer and use the steam from the kettle to slowly whittle away at the ice block. Once your kettle is empty, repeat the entire process again, over and over and over again, slowly melting the ice block with your kettle. And while you might think you can just kind of turn your brain off and do this for a while, of course it's not that simple. This is a game about a neighbor who's just kind of weird. Heating the kettle up is an extremely delicate balance because you've got to heat it up enough, but if you heat it up too much, it becomes hot to the touch and then you have to wait for it to cool down again. Oh yeah, and as a quick aside, who in their right mind would ever use a tea kettle like this? No other objects in the game interact like this, nor is there any visual indicator at all that the kettle is actually being filled with water. After doing this for about 10 minutes straight, the key card is defrosted and I can use it on the door. But here's the thing, these wooden boards aren't just visual. In order to remove them, you'll need to use the crowbar, which if you remember was shot through the floorboards and disappeared faster than Concord did from the PlayStation Store. I spend hours combing through the home to see where it possibly glitched, but no luck. The Hello Neighbor dev team actually thought of that though and made a lost and found for any disappearing item, which of course was completely empty. I tried just about everything to try and get into the basement, even glitch pushing myself in there, but it was all unsuccessful. Which means no, say it ain't so. You can't be serious. The only solution is to play through the entirety of Act 3 again. Go through the most painful experience of my life again. Is this a sick, twisted joke? I am Sisyphus, only the mountain is covered in acid. This can't be real. Just no!
No, this isn't happening. There is no reason for me to go on. What am I fighting for? Start a fresh new file, ready to tackle Act 3 once again. Now, you might be thinking the only things I need to get into the basement are the key card and the crowbar, right? Right? Oh, my sweet summer child. I too once was this naive. But let's try it out. I'll grab the crowbar, I'll grab the key card, and head into the basement. And surprisingly, it actually works. And once again, I'm back in that stupid empty basement. If I walk over to the end, there's this weird, like, black-looking creature guarding the halls, and it actually kind of spooked me, marking only the second time I've been scared 9 hours into this horror game. Actually, you know, it should be 3 because I'm scared of the deranged individuals who would release such slop into our society. I tried for a good 15 minutes to get past this little shadow guy, but to no avail. Why can't I seem to get past him? Well, remember those horrible minigames I spent all that time doing that seemed to do nothing? Well, they actually were doing something. See, even though this wasn't communicated to the player in any shape or form, meaning you would have literally no way of knowing, each of these minigames actually unlocks a new ability. The shopping minigame has a big sign at the front that gives you the ability to sneak or hide from the mannequins. I thought that this was just like an ability I got for this room, as I literally never tried crouching again. The school minigame we already know unlocks the ability to push neighbor. But the most egregious one of all is the closet minigame, as apparently this unlocks the ability to double jump. How would showing that for literally 2 seconds at the end of this minigame in any way express that to me? How would I guess that? Now, with all our abilities unlocked, we can head down into the basement and proceed to Act 4 and finally see what the neighbor has truly been hiding down there. But first, we've got lots of achievements to unlock. Yes, in addition to just the normal progression achievements that Hello Neighbor has, it added a ton of achievements for solving their obscure, stupid little puzzles that Neighbor has set up. The first thing you'll notice me doing is periodically picking up any mannequins or cake pieces I see. Why I'm doing this will become important later, but just know that since right now I'm going all around the house, I pick up any that I see. There's a sign somewhere in the house that tells you that music will affect the growth of tomato plants. So I grab the green gramophone from the sunroom and then bring it here into this room with the tennis ball machines. The gramophone's tunes grow the plants in the middle and thusly blocks the tennis balls from hitting these switches back here. Now, not being shot at, I can flip all the letters and then access the globe, which I was not supposed to be able to get to earlier. I truly have no idea how this game works. Then we need to place the globe in the refrigerator, freeze it, and place it on this random pedestal. And like, come on, at least with the kettle and the ice, thermodynamics are something generally understood by the player. Who in their right mind would ever think to freeze a globe? This then freezes the water in this top room, allowing me to grab the red gramophone. The red gramophone is the inverse of the green one, in that it'll shrink any plants that hears its tune. Using that, I can place it on the roof of the house and eliminate the tomato plants, making it impossible to get around up here. This reveals a ladder to the ceiling, giving me my second mannequin. There's also this short precision platforming section that requires a couple of attempts, but upon getting to the top, gives me an achievement. Now that I'm up here on the roof, I use the umbrella to glide down and land on this little suspended platform here. Here hides a tiny seed, an innocent seeming little plant. That's insidious rage will add over 7 hours to this playthrough. If you go to neighbor's front yard, there's this little dirt patch that you can place the seed in. Then I can use water from the kettle to water it. After filling the kettle a few times, I can finally see the start of a little tree. Even though the tree has grown pretty tall now, this still has a while to go, but luckily it will also grow, albeit slower, with time. Next up, I grabbed some basketballs from the basketball room, which is obviously something that every neighbor has. There's a basketball hoop on the side of the house that I need to throw it into, which is easier said than done, as doing just about anything outside means that the neighbor is going to be constantly running into you, so you'll have to run away and wait for him to leave, which takes much longer than it should. Finally though, I'm able to make the basket. The amount of times I missed that really made me feel like I was reliving my Slime Rancher days. Next up, it was time to wrangle up the last of the mannequins and cake. For the first one, I need to input the correct code into these buttons. The solution to this is actually pretty simple, as you can see the code 2369 across the way. This allows me to cross and grab the third mannequin. For the final mannequin, we'll need to put the red gramophone inside the room with the train, shrinking the plants. Open the door and boom, last one. Now for the cake. Since one piece starts in the room, we need to place all these in. We only need one more piece, which we can grab by umbrellaing off the roof and jumping into this window. With everything now gathered, we need to head to the birthday room and place everything down. But they can't just be in the room, but it needs to be set up like a real birthday party, which is surprisingly difficult when stupid neighbor won't leave me alone for 5 seconds.
Boom. Why did you throw that? Why would you do that?
Just put the freaking mannequin down. Birthday freaking party.
Come on. Enjoy. Where's the celebration? Where's the laughter? There we go. Oh my God, happy birthday. We got a gun. Wait, we got a gun?
For the final set of non-story related, non-tree related achievements, if we jump off the train tracks and over to this platform, we can see a piece of the wall that doesn't match. Upon crouching and heading through, there's a secret room, and at the end,
Unreal Engine missing script. Oh, well, there you go. What the heck? I ain't afraid no ghost. Where the heck am I? Okay, is that his daughter or dad or whatever?
Yes, walking through that unused asset teleported us to the rest of the map that was previously blocked off. I'll need to head around the map to various locations like this school, the factory, and the gas station. And of all the places in this game, I would expect this to be the one that hides even a single semblance of lore. Just one tiny ounce of something. But no, nothing. There's no reason to do this besides the achievement. You're just walking around an empty map, going to random locations that mean nothing. The only one that could possibly be interpreted as some semblance of lore is freaking, oh god, the hospital, where the achievement says you should check her state. Do you get it? Because his daughter died? It's not like that's literally the only conceivable piece of lore that has been beat over our heads the entire game. It actually insults me for a company to think that their audience is so brainless that they need to emphasize this literally 400 times. We get it. His daughter is dead. I do not care. All I know about this freaking neighbor is that he lives next door to me and his daughter is dead. Tell me something else. And with that, I had collected all of the non-story related achievements, meaning it was time to head back down into the basement. I can use the sneak ability to make it past the creature, the double jump to get over this fence, and the push to get neighbor away from me. This brings me to a long corridor, and at the end is a room with a cardboard cutout of a little boy. Heading inside triggers the glorious, glorious text, act finale. Victory is within grasp. The room is transported to an all-white surroundings, and for a good minute, literally nothing happens. The perfect encapsulation of this game.
Oh, neighbor's big.
Oh, that's a big neighbor. Whoa! Dude! I'm freaking out! Whoa, the neighbor is big? Neighbor big! Oh no!
Looking like an only up map. Umbrella's up there, okay.
I attempt to grab the umbrellas from above, but when I jump into the toaster, it fails to launch me, which means I'll have to actually head towards Neighbor. And while this initially scared me, turns out despite Neighbor being a literal titan now, he doesn't do anything to even hurt you. Not sure what the point of making him giant was then, but I digress. There are some floating wood platforms that I can use to jump onto this train track, which leads to a little house. Inside the house is a birthday cake with candles that I pocket for later, but besides that, there is nothing up here.
What if I burn his little shoes? I'm burning your little shoes! Oh no, neighbor! You're gonna have burned shoesies! Oh, I gotta light this firework into him. I see.
Take this, neighbor! Oh yeah, it exploded by your head and hurt your ears a little bit. Have fun recovering from that. Tendinitis is a bit...
I didn't want to say this, but I'm not gonna let this video finish without me saying this. Does anybody else think that Neighbor looks like early onset Mpreg? Or just like a character that people would want to see Mpreg? Is there a lot of Mpreg art about Neighbor? There must be. He just has that sort of vibe.
If I jump onto these metal platforms, I can click the button inside, which turns on the power. However, to turn on the toaster, I need to hit this switch up here. But obviously, we can't throw anything nearly that high, as we've never had the power to do that this entire playthrough, right? No, for some reason now, if I hold down the throw button, I get these little glitters around the screen, and I suddenly have a cannon attached to my arm. Using my new cannon arm that was never expressed to me, I can throw a basketball to whack the switch, finally turning on the toaster. And dear God, what is the wattage on this thing? It launches you. I make it to the topmost platform and flick the switch on it. This activates the elevator that you have like less than 2 seconds to make it to before it just completely leaves you in the dust. This, of course, means several more attempts to try and get up there.
I am freaking losing my mind. I am losing my mind. I'm in the neighbor zone. I'm in the neighbor zone. Everybody knows that I am in that neighbor zone. I'm in it square and short because he's an Mpreg.
This time, I'm able to make it to the elevator, which carries me to a room.
Just a bunch of switches. Was not ready for that. What? What kind of BS is that? Oh, I got the parasol though.
By using the toaster in combination with the umbrella, I can now float over to the pitching machine, load a baseball in, and whack Neighbor in the knee. With Neighbor now kneeling, I can finally glide over to the house on his back. Inside is a pathway covered in missing posters, and at the end is Neighbor, who's hanging up a missing poster because his daughter went missing. Did you know that the neighbor has a dead daughter? But Neighbor isn't just alone, and I'm not talking about his daughter's spirit. That black blob guy who's been all over the place is just staring at him. I head into the next room and find...
Okay. It's me as a baby. What? Is this all like an allegory for like something? Dude, you freaking baby. It's just a shadow monster. Oh, boo-hoo. Okay. I didn't like that it just auto-saved there. What? Why is the audio so bass boosted? What am I supposed to do?
In order to protect my baby self from the shadow monster, I need to stand directly in front of the baby, as Shadow Man's hands don't hurt me in the slightest for whatever reason. Baby me will run around the house, but I'm too big to follow him, so I need to find alternate paths and get there before him. And can I just say, the absurdity to have a game called Hello Neighbor, and the neighbor isn't your friend, and he isn't your enemy. In fact, the final boss fight, he isn't even there. It's just some stupid shadow monster that without doing any research, I can nearly guarantee is based off of trauma. Shadow monster, this isn't you. You just were never loved. Maybe if you had a friend, or should I say, a neighbor.
I'm floating on air. And I can't get down. I'm floating on air and I cannot get down. Why am I so high in the sky? Oh, I'm getting bigger, I think. Yes! Defeat your fear? So what? What? That was the embodiment of fear? So what was his fear? That he was gonna turn into a guy with a kind of weird looking house.
It was all a dream? What? Who could have seen that coming? It was all a dream? What?
That genuinely might be the worst game I've ever played. So the whole thing was that he was afraid that there was this guy. Like, I don't get it. Did the neighbor ever do anything wrong besides just wear a sweater vest and have a mustache and be an empreg?
If that's a crime, then I'm going straight to Alcatraz.
How is there a second Hello Neighbor?
Why does he cuff his jeans like they're goddamn capris? With the main story now completed, I had just one achievement left, and in order to finish it, I needed to wait for the tree to grow. So I just sit there waiting for a long time. It takes around 4 additional hours of waiting for this sucker to grow. But finally, the tree is in full bloom, and a golden apple has grown. Unfortunately, it's way too high up for my gun to knock down, so I just throw things at it for the next 5 minutes until something hits it, giving me the golden apple and the game's final achievement. What did I think? I think that Hello Neighbor might genuinely be the worst game ever created. From the unfun gameplay, to the confusing puzzles, to the story that tries to act way deeper than it really is, to the graphics that make no sense, to the buckets of LSD that the neighbor hides that I didn't even get into. This game is not even so bad it's good. It's just bad. And it shows a roadmap for all indie developers on everything they should not do with their game. Thanks for watching. Let me know which game you want me to 100% next. Please do not suggest Hello Neighbor 2 though. I think I'll seriously die. No, please don't!